Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I'm going to get into my places in, relax, do a little bit of arts and crafts with my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, so that all the gamers will appreciate. And let's talk about something, because we are presented with quite a conundrum in the online fitness world, particularly now that Stan Efferding is talking a little bit more, and I don't really watch other fitness YouTubers and stuff, but I do read up a bit, and I do know what his basic training philosophy is. And again, this really messes with a lot of guys who want to do higher volume training, because you got a problem here. Stan is an IFBB pro, obviously, in bodybuilding, which I don't care so much about. I could give two shits less about IFBB pro bodybuilding. But that means that his body composition is fantastic. It means he's got an enormous amount of muscle mass and he knows how to get lean. But it also means that he is competitive in an endeavor there. In a seriously competitive environment, has gone pro. More importantly, for my purposes though, he's a powerlifting raw world record holder. He trains with absurdly low volume by most standards. He believes in training 3 days a week, not 4, not 5, not 6, 3, 1, 2, 3. That means like Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And his philosophy is he tries to get his work done and try to be out of the gym within an hour. So that means that he trains less than 3 hours per week as far as his weight training goes. Yet the guy is both an IFBB pro and a powerlifting world record holder who squats like 900 pounds raw, incidentally. Which is pretty fucking insane no matter how you break it down. I don't want to even imagine walking out 900 pounds. Sorry. No. Yet he does it. Training absurdly low volume. Now he's big on things like push-pull legs, which you guys know I don't advocate for naturals, but he's not a natural. Now, the argument people are going to make when we bring this up, they're going to say, but Jason, Stan is on enormous amounts of anabolic steroids and probably growth hormone, IGF-1, insulin, all that stuff. Enormous amounts. Yeah, he probably is. His exact amounts, I don't know. Only Stan knows. He's the only person who knows exactly what he takes. I could only speculate at best. No idea. No point in even going there. It's probably a lot. I think that's a fair statement. But you know what? So is everybody else he's competing against. Hence the dilemma we're in. Because he is beating other bodybuilders. He earned his pro card. That's no small feat. I mean, Boston Lloyd's been trying for years while running up to 13 grams a year with growth hormone, insulin, IGF-1, peptides, everything together. He can't even get a pro card. I mean, Dave Palumbo tried for forever to get a pro card. Hell, Jerry Ward tried for many, many years to get a pro card. He can't get a pro card at anything. And he's a famous YouTuber. So, what do we make of that? Because by that same token, let's also go to the powerlifting. He beats powerlifters. In fact, he beats everybody. World record holder. I mean, who the hell competes with him? He doesn't have any competition. He beats all these guys, many of whom train 2, 3, 4, 8 times as much as he does per week. Now, it's generally accepted that anabolics let you handle higher volumes of training, recover from higher volumes of training, and many people even say, well, because they do that, you'll grow even faster from higher volumes of training. You'll get stronger even faster from higher volumes of training if you're using these drugs. Well, if that's the case, why aren't all these guys that he's competing with who use insane amounts of drugs, how is he beating them if they're training 5 times as much as he is? It creates a dilemma. And, you know, by that same token, it's been scientifically proven, and I've provided you guys all the data, that if you're on hefty doses of anabolics, you don't have to lift weights to gain muscle and strength. You'll gain appreciable amounts of muscle and strength sitting on your couch. As long as you get enough protein to fuel the growth, which isn't that much. Most natural bodybuilders taking more than's required for maximum drug gains, that you'll make gains even without training at all. But here's the problem. You obviously aren't going to win anything. You're not going to beat people who are training if you're not training, and they're on drugs too. But here he is, even with all this talk of the higher volume really accentuates and has a synergy with the drugs. He doesn't do higher volume. Tries getting out of the gym in an hour. So he's in there less than 3 hours a week. When it comes to volume, here's maybe the caveat. His philosophy, and I think this is probably the take-home philosophy of anyone on drugs, I think he has it right. I think he has it dead fucking right for people on gear. Volume, sets, reps, it doesn't really matter. Again, this is coming from a world record holder in powerlifting and IFBB Pro. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters is you just pick whatever you want. You do whatever volume you feel like doing, whatever you enjoy. As long as the intensity and the workload and the effort is there, you will make continual progress. That's his philosophy. You know what? He's right. You guys see guys winning and setting records on both ends of the spectrum, the extremes like he's on, and guys who train for hours a day. You see both of them doing equally well. You see record holders in both groups, powerlifting, you see pro bodybuilders in growth groups. You know what? It is purely a matter of personal preference. And that's what I think. I think even for the drug-free guys, I think the amount of time you spend lifting is a matter of personal preference. He believes in a philosophy of getting in, hitting the upper threshold fibers, and like he said, he sometimes thinks it's fine to come in and do 1 or 2 hard sets and get out of the gym. That's a workout for him. 1 or 2 hard, heavy sets, get out of the gym, go get some food, get some sleep, and you'll grow. Works for him. Seems to work for a lot of guys who are champions. And I think that, again, it's what it comes down to. The amount of volume that you do, whether you spend 2.5 hours a week in the gym lifting, or you spend 10 hours a week in the gym lifting, I think, particularly once drugs come into the mix, I think the results are the exact same. I think it's a matter of personal preference. I think it's a matter of getting in enough intensity and recovery. In his case, he does low enough volume. He fully recovers. He relaxes, doesn't worry about training. Brings his cortisol levels back down. He recovers, and he's so recovered by the time he trains again 48 hours later that he is able to hammer extremely brutal sets because his peripheral nervous system is recovered. His muscles are recovered, and he's able to come in and hammer the upper threshold muscle fibers again without a problem, re-stimulate them. Other guys can't, but they do it through just metabolic fatigue. Just they do enough workload that eventually in a workout they reach those fibers. At the end of the day, they all get the same results. So he's not necessarily, in my opinion at least, my take on it is, he's not winning or setting a record just specifically because of his philosophy, but because his philosophy works for him and it's his personal preference. It's what makes him happy. And if it makes you happy and you enjoy doing it that way, you're going to put forward more effort consistently with less downtime and less breaks, and you're going to do it year after year after year after year. And because he's focused on recovering and not being in the gym and not worrying about the gym, when he is in there, the little bit of time he's in there, he is focused on really putting forward effort and in a few sets hitting all those upper threshold fibers again. And he's done it enough years that way that it works. I think that's the secret to his success. But the thing that you guys need to remember, and here's what that comes down to, and what I keep trying to tell people, it's not about that the high volume or low volume, whatever works. You need to do what you're going to enjoy the most and what's going to make you put in the work year after year, because strength in particular is something that seems to take many, many years to develop your strength potential. And I've even seen charts on that show in general, whether it's for drugs or drug-free, that most guys to really build their strength base need about 4 years of consistent, continual strength training. No downtime, but consistent. Consistency is everything. And if your training method lets you be consistent, that's what's going to work at the end of the day. If you love high volume, then do high volume. If you don't love high volume, then go the other route and just make sure that all your work sets really count and you put forward effort. Even if you're only in there 1, 2, 3 days a week, you'll make progress, you'll make gains. And if you do it long enough in enough years, you'll get to at least a good chunk of your potential no matter what. It's just about consistency. And I think that is Stan's secret. He's found what allows him to do it and hit those upper threshold fibers and recover consistently for year after year after year after year. And if you do that long enough, you're really going to have no choice but to be strong as fuck. It's almost unavoidable. Now, you may not be a world record holder like he is, but you're going to be strong. There's no way you're not going to be strong if you do that, at least on all the big lifts, unless you get injured. And again, sets you back downtime. Injuries reduce consistency. So, yeah, I think that's the secret to his success. I think that's why it works for him, in spite of the fact that it seems to contradict what many guys believe about training, and particularly what many guys believe about chemically enhanced training. That's why it kind of breaks the mold and messes with people's head, but they don't understand. Really, at the end of the day, it's just about recovery, effort, consistency, and motivation. And again, the main thing being that consistency without the downtime. And I think that's what's been so successful for him. And it works for him. And at the end of the day, the amount of volume you do is literally nothing more than a personal preference. Don't get caught up in thinking that one is better than the other in the long term, whether it's higher volume or lower volume, or that you have to just do one or the other forever. You can pick and choose based upon your lifestyle and what you happen to enjoy. But at the end of the day, it's just personal preference. You love spending 10, 15 hours a week in the weight room, do that. If you only want to spend 2 hours in there, do that, but make those 2 hours count. And as long as you're consistent, you don't get hurt, and you enjoy it, you'll make progress. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, it's kind of interesting to see Stan out there promoting this, because he is someone who is exceptional at it, and he is kind of going against the grain, like a few others have over the years. And he's been a champion in spite of doing everything the wrong way. So it's kind of interesting to observe, and that's just my take on it. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.